problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
A good mortgage broker.
And I kept searching.
and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
thank you.
Hi, good evening. This is Rajiv, your host, once again with you. Today's program, Rajiv's Mortgage Coffee Talk. So let's discuss again something regarding mortgages and financing. So this week was very important, as everyone knows that Bank of Canada has not increased any interest rate and they kept at 5%. But that doesn't mean that they are done or they are lowering the interest rate. They haven't given any indication because they want to watch. They want to make sure this time the inflation, which is their main target to control, is under their control. They want to consistently, they want to test that the inflation is coming down and under control, then they will start decreasing the interest rate. So they haven't given any indication when they are going to do it, but many people or many economists or many experts, they think that that's going to happen in June or July meeting. What um, we don't know sure basically when they're going to start, but definitely this is going to happen before the end of the year. And I, I believe in this summer market, this is what many people are waiting for, the so-called relief in the interest rate so that they can breathe properly, because their payments are um, soaring. Payments are soaring, and it's hard to get money out of their pocket because um, this is the reason that they're looking for advice as well. As on top of that, there is another problem is happening right now in 2024, 2025 and 2026. The reason is that 80% of the mortgages are coming for renewal in these 3 years, and in the coming 18 months, I mean till the middle of 2025, almost 35% mortgages are renewal, coming on renewal. What it means, the renewals are coming for those people whose rate is super low, around 2.89, around 3%. Now when they are going to renew their mortgages, the rates are anywhere sitting 5.5, 6, or 6.5, depending upon where their mortgages, or whether it's A lending, B lending, or private lending. So every lender, wherever you go, whether A lending, the rates are up. B lending, the rates are also up in the tune of around 7 or 7 plus, depending upon your score or circumstances. Means that there will be a payment shock, payment increase for those people. And not only those people, because those people never think about this kind of situation when they took the mortgage. At that time, the interest rate was very low, because they were um, that time they were approved for bigger mortgages. So they gone for bigger houses, bigger mortgages, bigger payment. And when when the rates are already high, and when they're coming up for renewal, their payment is also going to be much bigger than they think. There will be a payment shock. Some people, it's a little bit hard to, if they are already in a variable, so their savings are already depleted, or their emergency funds are already depleted, and they are looking for the alternatives, they're looking for the options. So this is where you need to sit with a trusted licensed mortgage agent or broker or professional, so that you can get the right advice at the right time, because advice is always free. It depends where you go and from where you get the advice. The advice is, why I'm saying advice is more important. The reason is because at this high interest rate, if their income is not increased, or there is no additional income is available, the qualifying at this high interest rate is a little bit challenge. Yes, to for what kind of challenge? If you want to switch the lender, you have to go through the stress test. If the rate is, for example, if the rate is right now 6%, you have to go through 6 plus 2% means 8% you have to qualify. If your income is not enough, and it's going to be a little bit hard to qualify, but there are options available. Definitely you need to discuss with your uh, trusted advisors or licensed mortgage professionals, as well as who can guide you, who can show you the option which are available from various. The mortgage world is becoming a little bit complicated nowadays. Complicated in the sense that the product, there are many products available, and you need to understand, you need to basically learn the product with your advisors as well as. So um, do not hesitate, to call or sit with the advisors and get your financing on the right path, on the right way. So as you can see my number, which is displaying here and also available in the description, you can call me anytime for professional unbiased advice as well as. So this was the a little bit of information about the Bank of Canada's market update, but also same time we have seen that, and we are looking as well as, and we are hearing from many people from the real estate side as well as, the market is also picking up. Lot of buyers who were sitting on the side, they are also now active, and the activity is also building up as the summer is heading up. Listings are coming, and sometime there will be a bidding war as well as. But make sure that when you are doing or going for this war, I will say that this is a war. If you are going for this war, you should be prepared. But how are you going to prepare for that? You should sit down with the mortgage professional before you go for this war. Means that you should sharpen all your tools, all your weapons when you are at the table for wedding bar. What kind of weapons? Do we need weapons? Definitely you need weapons. Your weapons are how much you qualify, how far you can go, how much purchase price limitation you have, how, what's the buffer according to income, credit. If you know that, you can play this bidding war very confidently to win it. Not only to play it, to win it. I will say that this is your weaponry. You have to have in your pocket all kind of tools, and we can provide those tools. We can sharpen your tools and you along with your realtor can use those sharp tools to play this game, play this winning game, and also to win this winning game. So you can go with confidence to put the offer when you know your options basically. So I will highly encourage to work out on your options so that you can go and win this war. Basically, I will say that this is the right time as well as to buy the real estate as well as why even the interest rates are high. If you qualify, still you can win this game in this tough environment. For example, the rate is high right now, and you're fully qualified. What if you're paying, you can go for variable or short term mortgage. For example, you're paying for 1 and 2 year higher interest rate, how much you can pay extra? What if your value, the house you purchased, increased in value in 2 years? That will surpass those costs as well as, but you have to be very calculated, you have to be very analytical, or you have to be in a calculating mode. When you know your game, definitely you can win. So I will encourage, because there are houses available right now. Yes, you can find your right house because number of listings are increasing day by day, because people think that seller think that they can get a better rate right now, and the buyers also can think the same thing, that they can get a better deal as well as better house as well as. Definitely, if you work hard or if you play on this game. So today I'm going to discuss another game, not this bidding war game. I'm going to discuss another game. Let's understand the credit game. Let's play the credit game, which is very, very important to understand as well as. The reason we are focusing time today on the credit is because it's very important to understand that. If we understand how the credit, what's the credit, how credit works, how credit works, what basically inside the credit game, and also I'm going to discuss about today the 9 credit tips which will help you, will equip you to play this game very very comfortably. ਸੋ ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਥੋੜੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਰ ਲਈਏ, ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਔਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੋਣੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਆ। ਅੱਜ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹ ਲਵਾਂਗੇ, ਆਪਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ, ਸਾਂਝੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ। ਇਹ ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹੀ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਆ, ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਦੀ ਗੇਮ ਸਮਝ ਲਓ, ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉੱਤੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਫੈਕਟਰਸ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਨੇ, ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਦਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਰੱਖਣਾ, ਤੇ ਟਿਪਸ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਦੇਣੀਆਂ, ਉਹ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਰਨ ਕਰ ਲਓ, ਤੇ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਗੇਮ ਆ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਦੀ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਕੱਲਾ ਪਲੇ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵਿਨ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਖੇਡ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ, ਯੂ ਕੈਨ ਵਿਨ ਦਿਸ credit game. So let's go into and see the credit game. So let me tell you what's the credit. The first question is always, what's the credit? Credit is a scoring game basically. It's a 3-digit score ranging from 600 to 900, basically from 300 to 900. So the higher your credit score, the more creditworthy you will be considered from the credit point of view. The lenders or the people who give you the credit, they will see you a more credit worthiness if your score is higher. Basically, not only higher, but also your score should be healthy as well as. How it can be healthy, we're gonna discuss definitely later on. What are the factors which make this credit credit score, what is involved basically, which things have more effect on this credit game. So let me share with you what are the factors affecting the credit bureau. Just bear with me, give me a few seconds. So now you can see that there are 5 factors which affect the score, your score basically. The most important factor is your payment history, which is 35% of overall credit, um, your overall credit. So payment history means that how you are paying, whether you are paying on time, how late you're paying. What I'm saying that if you're paying 30-day late, 1 day late, 30-day late, 60-day late, 90-day late, or 120-day late, that will be um, treated as, if you're on time, you will be R1 rated. If you're 30-day, R2, R3, I mean your rating will go down the with the amount of time you're not paying. So this is the biggest factor in determining your credit score. So make sure that you are paying your credit on time, always on time. So this is 35% weightage, overall weightage. Another thing is amount owed, 30%. How much credit you owe basically. This is also called a utilization. Utilization means that how much credit you are utilizing out of your available credit. I will give you an example right now. For example, you have a $1,000 credit limit and you are using $800 out of that. So it means 800 out of 1,000, your credit utilization is 80%. But the same thing, um, if you're using 300 $300 out of 1,000, your credit utilization is 30%. And the higher your credit utilization, the lower will be the credit score, because higher utilization, they always look overall your credit limit, as well as many lenders, they look overall credit. For example, if you have 5 credits for 1,000 limit, means 50,000, it's a 5,000 credit limit. And if you're using $1,000 out of 5,000, your credit utilization is low. But at the same time, if you're using higher credit out of that limit, the credit utilization will go up, which can definitely negatively impact your credit score. So make sure that you're having not only a low limit, because when you have a low credit card limit, your tendency to use it also leads to higher utilization. So make sure always increase your credit limit. I will explain this in detail later on. So this has a 30% weightage on your credit. Other thing is the length of the history, how long you have taken the credit product, how long you are holding that. So do not, for example, you have taken a credit card when you came to Canada, or you're here for longer term, do not cancel that credit, because the reason is that that credit has a history on your credit file. If you're canceling that credit card, you're also canceling the history. But you should always increase the limit of the same card instead of replacing that card. This is a 15% weightage of your length of the credit card history on the uh, on this factor. Other thing is the new credit. When you are seeking new credit, when you're applying new credit, it's a 10% weightage on that. If you're applying all credit, all of a sudden you're applying many cards at once, the lender will see you vulnerable, you are looking for credit basically. So that is also can negatively impact your credit. As well as other 10% weightage is credit mix. It means that you should have a mix of credit, revolving credit, line of credit, other loans, as well as not only the credit card. Sometimes we are thinking that we we have a 5 credit card, we don't need any other thing. If you have a mix of credit, mean you have a 2 credit card, you have a bunch of couple of line of credit is maybe personal, or maybe it's a secured, or have a car loan or any other um, personal loan. This will also uh, this also has a positive impact on your credit. So this is the credit, um, these are the credit factors which influence your credit score and your credit history. So the major two are your payment history and your amount owed. So make sure that you know where you have to focus on this these factors, so that your credit is becoming healthy and also always has a higher number. So this was hopefully you have seen that, you have seen my screen, and you have seen that. So these are the factors basically I discussed, which influence and give the weightage to your credit bureau. So what are the things which affect um, or which help basically to build your credit? These are the credit card, your credit card, your personal loan, your car loan, your line of credit. These things will help you to build your credit basically. The other things like you're paying rent, or you're paying mortgage is reported on the credit bureau, but it's not going to help you to build the credit. But if you're miss the payment, or your default on the payment, but this will negatively impact on your credit. So make sure that you know that which things are helping you to boost the credit, and which are not helping you. So these uh, another factor is when we, or any person coming from the Asian countries especially, because in the Asian countries, as I'm from India, and any other Asian country, we are not used to basically a credit or any credit agencies basically. That's why when we are coming here, we are having a shock, or we it will take time to basically understand the credit system. In the North American markets, we are the credit driven industries, or credit driven society basically, and we do need credit here for almost everything. If we need to buy a car, definitely we need a credit. If we need to buy furniture sometime, yes, on the financing, yes. Your mortgage, your any other loan, any equipment basically, a student loan, any anything you want to purchase here, they will be on financing, until unless you have a lot of money and you don't need credit at all. So make sure that you are building your credit from day one. Yes, I'm saying from day one, but also important is to understand it properly basically. Understand properly. When you know the game basically, when you know the rules basically, because a card game also has rules. As we discuss the factors, those are the rules. When you know the rules, you can play, not only play, you will be playing to win as well. As this is what we are here doing. We are here sharing our knowledge, we are educating, But if you need any, if you have a specific question or concern, you can always discuss with us. You can always give us a call, and we can help you one on one as well as to understand this game. So ਦੋਸਤੋ, ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕੀਤੇ ਨੇ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੈਕਟਰਸ ਨੇ, ਇਹ ਬੜੇ ਹੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਸ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਮੌਰਗੇਜ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਸਕੋਰ ਆ ਹੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਜੇ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਆ। ਨਾਟ ਓਨਲੀ ਸਕੋਰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਨੰਬਰ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਡਿਸੀਵਿੰਗ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਤੇ ਜੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਸਕੋਰ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਆ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੁਰਾਣਾ ਸਕੋਰ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਓਲਡ ਅਕਾਊਂਟ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਕਿੰਨੇ ਕੁ ਆਪਣੇ ਕੋਲ ਲਿਮਿਟ ਦੇ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਕਾਰਡ ਹੈ, ਇਹ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ। ਸੋ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਹੈਲਦੀ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਉਨਾ ਹੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਬੈਟਰ ਪ੍ਰੋਡਕਟ ਆ ਉਹ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦਾ ਆ। ਹੁਣ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰੀਏ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਆ ਇਹ ਕੌਣ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਇੱਥੇ ਦੋ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਬਿਊਰੋ ਨੇ ਬੇਸਿਕਲੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਇੱਕ ਹੈਗਾ ਐਕੋਫੈਕਸ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਹੈ ਟਰਾਂਸ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ। ਇਹ ਦੋ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਬਿਊਰੋ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਆਪਣਾ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਸਕੋਰ ਹੈਗਾ। ਦੋ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਸਕੋਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਦੋਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮਾਡਲ ਅਲੱਗ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੰਪਲੋਇਰ ਨੇ ਜਾਂ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੈਕਸ਼ਨਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਉਹ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰਿਪੋਰਟ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਕੁਛ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਐਕੋਫੈਕਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕੁਛ ਟਰਾਂਸ ਯੂਨੀਅਨ ਨੂੰ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ। ਉਹਦੇ ਬੇਸ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕੰਪਾਈਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਭੇਜਦੇ ਨੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ, ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੰਪਾਈਲ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਐਲਗੋਰਿਦਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਫਾਰਮੂਲਾ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸਕੋਰ ਕੱਢਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਉਹ ਕ੍ਰੈਡਿਟ ਵਰਦੀਨੈਸ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਸ਼ੋ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈਗਾ। So guys, there are two credit bureaus in Canada. One is a Equifax and other is a TransUnion. Basically, when you're doing transactions, all those companies, they send the transaction means that your payment history, whether you paid on time, whether you paid late, how late you paid, they reported to these two credit bureau agencies. Those are two different scoring models basically. And not every lender or every company is sending to both. Some are sending to Equifax and some are sending to TransUnion. That's the reason their scores are different, and because their model is different. But also same time, the lenders also use not both. Some lenders use Equifax and some lenders use TransUnion. So this is confusing. Yes, of course, this is confusing for a general person. And when you are getting a score from free score from your app, some banks are giving you a free score through their app as well, as that score is not the same score your credit bureaus are giving basically. So when you're going for a credit seeking or you need a credit or any financing, when we check or any lender is checking, they're checking their FICO score, which is a different score than what you're getting basically. So your score can be deceiving as well as, to be honestly. How? Why deceiving? Because your score can be lower than what your actual score for getting a credit is. Sometimes it can be a few, for example, 20, 30, and sometimes it can be a difference of 100 points as well as. So make sure that when you are going for a mortgage, do not rely only on your score as well as. Make sure that your mortgage advisor or any licensed person you are consulting with, they check your score basically to see where you stand, how your credit score is looking. So if you're only making decision on your own credit bureau, and when you're actually going for the to get the financing, there may be a difference, there may be a shock when your score is low and now you are stuck. So make sure that you are doing these steps, or you're getting the right advice with the right tools from the right person. So in the next half, I'm going to discuss I'm going to give you basically 9 most important credit tips. If you know that, if you learn those, and if you implement those, and those tips will help you to keep your score healthy and high. So let's take a short break, and I will be coming back very shortly.
Problem.
Big problem.
I really needed.
A good mortgage broker.
And I kept searching.
And searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
thank you.
Welcome back after this short break. So let's discuss, as I mentioned, so we are going to discuss 9 credit tips. But before that, let's discuss something about which I noticed very often today. Many people are taking advice from the social media platform. So I have noticed that when the Bank of Canada is going to about going to announce their interest rate decision, many people are becoming economists on social media, and they are giving advice, basically giving advice on the interest rate, what's going to happen on the market. Some people are saying that, okay, Bank of Canada is going to um, decrease the rates about 1% before the end of the year. Some are saying 2%, some are saying 1.5%. See, wide range of opinion, wide range of opinion. To whom you're going to listen and get the advice from. Make sure that you are listening, but you are getting and taking your decision in a very educated way. Make sure that you are taking the advice from a right source, from a credible source. Make sure you're doing your due diligence as well, as because a lot of fake information as well as not credible information as well as happening. Many people are becoming so-called professionals as well as, and always you can check their credentials, you can check their license before you are getting the advice, because it's a very important that this is one of the biggest financial decision you're taking in your life. For example, if I have seen that many people are, when they're going for a grocery store, they're carrying many flyers basically, and on the teller before checkout, they are taking the tellers a lot of time to match the price match. Basically, it's called price match. Maybe they are saving few cents, maybe saving 50 cents. But if you're taking that very seriously, how come you're not taking your mortgage very seriously? Where you are going to pay thousands of extra if you have taken a wrong decision or if you're in a wrong product. That's why this advice is very, very critical, very, very important to take the right product at the right time, according to your lifestyle, according to your circumstances. And another thing is, sometimes I'm hearing a lot of time, I'm hearing a question that, oh, my friend got the mortgage from this lender, they got this much interest, they got this kind of mortgage. But make sure that you're not aware of that, what kind of circumstances he has, what kind of financial he has. So everybody's situation and circumstances are different. So make sure that your advice, your solution can also be different as well as. So make sure, again, this is my humble request, to make sure you're taking the right advice from the right person. Doesn't matter who is your advisor. You can sit with your existing advisor or you can find a good advisor. This is your job, which is a challenge as well as nowadays, because this market is uncertain. Not only uncertain, this market is very, very unpredictable right now. If the Bank of Canada don't know anything right now what their future is or what they're going to do in the future or what kind of steps they're going to take, they are also watching. How can so-called economist, so-called person on the social media, they know that what's going to happen? This question is for you, and you should think seriously and carefully as well as. So now let's discuss the credit tips basically. So let me share the screen with you so that we can um, share the information with you as well as. Hopefully you are looking at this. This is the credit tip number 1. So keep your overall credit utilization at 30 to 70% of the limit. So when I'm saying that keep your credit limit below 70 or 30 to 70%, it means that your overall credit utilization, for example, if you're having a credit card of $10,000 and you are using, for example, 30,000, sorry, 3,000, your credit utilization is 30,000, and which has a 30% weightage on your credit bureau. So make sure that you understand this. Why is important? There is a factor I will discuss with you. For example, if you're having a small card, when you're starting, basically, you always have a small card for 1,000 limit. But when you're going for shopping, tendency is, because it's small limit, tendency is overutilization or close to your limit. Another thing is all these retail store cards are also small limits. When we are going for shopping, sometimes we don't think, or it's intended that we just make an impulsive purchase, which can go beyond your credit limit. If this happen, if your credit limit, if your credit utilization, or if you use the credit more than 70% of the limit, and your credit is going to start hurting negatively, and by chance We have seen that practically if you have used your full credit limit, means that if you have utilized the full credit limit or over, your credit score can sharply come down, means that it will negatively impact on your score as well as. So make sure that you know what you are doing. So credit tip number 2 is always pay the retail store charge off in full. For example, your retail store cards always come with a higher interest rate. Usually they are more than 24 or 25%, as compared to the bank issued credit cards, which are at a lower interest rate. So always pay full every month. Usually if you have a more than one, it's sometimes very difficult to remember that we have used the card, because those are the one-off cards and with a different small limits. And if we forget to pay off, and it will incur, because it's a compounding interest, and the interest rate can be basically much higher than what we see, basically because a compounding effect. So make sure that you're paying off your retail cards often, basically very retail card, very all the limits, the retail card limit every month. So another, as I mentioned, sorry for the interruption. So um, as I mentioned, the APR, mean annual percentage rate, is much higher than your regular bank issued credit cards. Credit tip number 3 is check your credit report a minimum of 3 to 6 months. Yes, why? We recommend you should check your credit bureau report every 6 months. And do you know that both credit bureau, Equifax and TransUnion, they are giving one full free report every year if you check it. But sometimes it's a little bit confusing on their site, and it's a hidden. If you need it, you can text me, you can contact me. I will send you their free report link, which will be easy for you to get the free report, basically. So why? You can, for the first 6 months, you can check one report, Equifax, and the next half of the year you can check the TransUnion. So basically, why we're gonna check? Because there might be some derogatory report on your credit bureau, or your any uh, any other unexpected or wrong information. Maybe your name is mixed with someone else, and their information is coming up on your credit bureau. Sometimes we have noticed that there are two credit bureau reports on your name, and you have to correct it. If you are not correcting, or if you're not checking, you will not be aware of that. Sometimes there is a mismatch of the name, mismatch of the address, mismatch of the other item, because the reason is that the lenders, the companies, they report this to the credit bureau, and it's a computer based entries. The computer can also make mistakes, and those companies can also make mistake. So that's why we always say that it's your responsibility to check and to correct it, because it's your credit bureau, it's your responsibility. But if you see that there is there's something wrong reported on your credit bureau, there is a dispute resolution system, and you can correct, you can report, they will investigate, and they will remove from your credit bureau, and your credit bureau will be okay or good, as well as. And if there are two, if you notice that there are two files, you can also uh, make a dispute, and they will merge those two files. And also, if it's because of the there's another reason to check, the most important reason nowadays, basically more important, identity theft, because this is happening on a very fast or large scale nowadays. If your ID is stolen, they can have access to your credit, they can have access to your financial information, and if they're using it, this can impact your own financial health or your own credit bureau. So make sure that you're checking your credit bureau. I will say that every quarter or at least after 6 months, and it's free to check your. This will not impact your credit score at all, because this is called a soft inquiry by yourself. So both credit bureau, Equifax, as well as TransUnion will give the ability or the benefit to you to check every year. So if you're having some difficulty of checking it or not finding the free link to check the report, you can always contact me. I can provide you those free links as well as. So another tip, tip number 4 is credit cards are needed in today's world. Definitely, if you, as I mentioned initially, if you want to check your credit card, sorry, if you want to build your credit here, you need a credit card to build it. You need a credit card to build your credit. When you're new, sometime um, nowadays, when you're coming as a, for example, you're coming as a new immigrant, most of the banks are giving credit card, even if you're not working, around, I think, around 1000 limit. You can utilize that facility and start building your credit as well as. Make sure that if you're using those credit cards which are low limit, you are paying off on time as well as the payment. Your payment is a 35% factor. And also another pro tip is, if you're having a credit card, make sure their minimum payment is pre-authorized. You are basically bound to pay their minimum payment rather than the full payment. If your minimum payment is pre-authorized, your payment will not miss as long as you have money in the account. The rest of the interest you can pay, or you can pay at any time or not pay this month, is not going to affect your credit at all, as long as the minimum payment is paid. And you should be doing this for all your credit card, all your line of credit. If you're using, your minimum payment should be pre-authorized to avoid any missed payment. If you forget it, or if you're out of country, or due to any reason, your payment will not be reported as missed if you have paid minimum, their minimum required payment, which is a very small payment as compared to the interest you need to pay as for your utilization. This was the tip number 4. Credit tip number 5 is a single high limit credit card can be a better financial tool than multiple smaller cards. This is true as well as. The reason is that if you have a number of multiple cards with the smaller limits, it's a little bit hard to manage it. Manage when their billing cycle is, when their reporting cycle is. Also, the temptation is to, when you're going for a shopping, your temptation, or maybe the problem is going to be you will cross their allowed limit, or you reach their limit, which can, because it means that utilization is going to be high and it will negatively impact your score. But also many credit cards is hard to keep a track on when the due date is, when you need to pay, when is the billing cycle. Instead of that, if you have a couple of cards and with a high credit limit, that will be much better, and that will keep you and your score, to keep your score healthy and high as well as. So I will encourage you to have a couple of, or a few credit card with a high limit than if you have a 10 credit card. It's a much better. That will help you to uh, keep your uh, credit on in your control. Basically, that's what in your control, because our memory is not that sharp. We can keep track of all the um, due limits, billing cycle, how much we need to pay. That's why. So this credit tip will help you in that direction. So now, this was tip number 5. Another is tip number 6. Keep your credit utilization at 30% to 70%, as I mentioned before, as well as. So it's very important. And next tip is you may benefit from a prepaid credit card. Sometime, for example, if you're new or you're not getting any credit card, you can also get a prepaid credit card. Credit card is basically you give $1,000 to that company, and they are gonna give you a 1,000 limit credit card against that deposit. And when you're utilizing, they're gonna report to the credit bureau as well as. It means that you are building your credit history. By doing that, when you're building that history, and at some certain time, credit card company will start offering you unsecured credit card as well as. So this is a great way of building credit as well as. Another situation is where you need, the prepaid card can help you is when your credit is bad. You have done something and the card companies are not giving you credit. That In that situation, there are some companies who are giving prepaid card, or it's called secured card, basically secured against your deposit. That will help you to build, um, or start building your credit again. Basically, it's helping in both building credit bureau and rebuilding your credit bureau. So the secured card or the prepaid card will help you build your credit as well as to rebuild your credit as well as. So this is a great tool basically, but there is a caution as well as. Make sure that you are the co-borrower or borrower of that credit card, the authorized um, not the authorized user. Sometimes we have noticed that when we are coming to this country, and one person, either husband or wife, they took a card and they took a supplementary card out of their main card and give it to their wife or husband. This way, whoever is using the authorized card, additional card, they're not going to build their own history, because the authorized card is not issued based on your credentials, not based on your credit, not based on your income. It's not going to report anything to your own credit bureau. So make sure that you are taking your own credit bureau, and your own credit is going to build your own history for you. This is a very honest or innocent mistake we are, because we are not aware of the credit game. So that's why we are sharing the information with you as well as. Remember to check your credit report, as I mentioned, quarterly, basically quarterly or 6 monthly. Again, this is a tip for you. I will say that. Now, there is another important tip I'm going to share is don't forget that phishing also occur online nowadays. So this is a little bit different topic than the credit, but it's a very important. Phishing is happening basically. Phishing is happening means that people are pretending to be known people, known companies, and they are sending you the email. They are sending you spam emails um, to get your information. So make sure that this is happening nowadays because it's a electronic um, w- era right now. Everything is we are doing electronically. So all the transaction we are doing online electronically. Most we are using a lot of emails nowadays, and people they are phishing you as well. They're trying to phishing you. So they are it's like a scammers basically. You have to be aware of those scammer. If you are make sure that you do not open an email which if you're not expecting that, or if you have any doubt that this email is not credible, because once you open there can be a damage as well as. So make sure you check the authenticity, and also think about, am I expecting this email? Am I expecting this offer? Am I expecting this kind of benefit? If you're thinking that it's not, do not open and delete that, because that can help you to save your information from those scammers as well as. Another and the last one is if it's too good to be true, it usually is basically. So because in this world right now, in this market right now, in this tough time right now, people are doing all kind of things basically. They are pretending to be looks like a legitimate person. They are opening or building the website which looks like a official website. Anybody can um, do a blog, anybody can write an article, fake article, and pretend to be the expert in that field. So make sure that you know that from where you are getting the information. This is a social media. Make sure the source of that information. Make sure check their credentials, check their name, check who what he is doing basically, because a little bit hard sometimes to see because of fake news. There is a lot of fake news is happening right now, which can, especially for the financial scams, basically investment scam. people are people are basically losing a lot of money, thousands of dollar money, sometimes hundreds of money, hundred of thousands of money as well as by these scammers. Look very real basically. They look very real, but they're not actually real. Once you're in their trap, they can control your computer, they can control your bank system, they can control your information, they can control your credit bureau, which can affect you and your financial and your credit as well as. So make sure that you're checking their authenticity as well as. So guys, these are the tips. If you have any question, any specific question, if you would like to discuss with me, or if you are looking to see any other topic or any other information, I'm always looking for your feedback for this program. So I will incorporate those things which you're looking information. Really thankful as well as for watching, and I will highly encourage if you can share this program or this information with you, with your friend, your relatives, with the people you love, so that we can reach more people through these kind of program. So thank you once again. Enjoy your uh, weekend, because the coming weekend is a March break for kids. Enjoy with family, go to vacation, be safe, drive safe, and good night. Thank you.
Problem.
Big problem.
I really needed.
A good mortgage broker.
And I kept searching.
And searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem.